feelings. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. Today, if you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to have a non-spoilery review of Iron Flame and Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing being the first book, Iron Flame being the second book. Granted, I can't tell you what happens in Iron Flame without spoiling Fourth Wing, so I'm just going to give you a review of, like, a synopsis of Fourth Wing, tell you how I feel about both books, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and if I plan on continuing the series. So, all of this is going to be completely unscripted, except for I did write down my synopsis because I wanted to write it and not wing it. Wing it, get it? Fourth Wing, wing it. I didn't want to just fly by the seat of my pants because I know me and spoilers would have ended up coming out. So writing it down, I was able to make sure, like, I read it, proofread it, read it to my cousin, read it to a friend of mine, made sure that I'm like, this doesn't sound spoilery, does it? And they're like, no, not at all. So that's the only part that is scripted. The rest of this is raw. Here's my, if you do not know what Fourth Wing is about, Fourth Wing is about the Kingdom of Navarre that has a war college named Basgiath. Violet Sorrengail is a 20-year-old woman that has been forced into the Dragon Rider class by her mother, the general, even though she spent her entire life training and studying to be a scribe. Violet is described as smaller than everyone around her and with a treacherous body, meaning death is the matter of an exhale away because dragons don't bond with weak people, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons than there are cadets, some of the cadets are going to be more than willing to kill Violet for the chance of success, but also be more than willing to kill her for who her mother is. Like Xaden Ryerson, an extremely powerful and ruthless wing leader with a heavy cross to bear. As every day passes, Violet uses her immense knowledge from scribe studies to her advantage. With the ongoing war growing more and more deadly, the kingdom's protection failing, and Violet is beginning to suspect that not everything is as it seems, with leadership keeping secrets. Squad mates, friends, enemies, and lovers at Basgiath War College all have an agenda because it is either graduate or die. So that is the summary of Fourth Wing. Now, my feelings about it. We'll start with my cons. My issues with Fourth Wing is it is extremely tropey. You have all of those things that every other fantasy sci-fi book has. You have dragons. You have glowy tattoos. You have the person saying, a sword is too heavy, but I can really wield a dagger. You have the enemies to lovers trope. You have nothing is as it seems. And some of the critiques I had seen said if I wanted to read Divergent or The Hunger Games, I would have just read those. So those are the cons. The pros for me. One, I've never read Divergent or The Hunger Games, so I can't really speak on that little tidbit. However, the amount of representation that is in this book. There is disability rep, there is LGBTQ plus rep, there's BIPOC rep. I'm here for all of it. It's well written in the sense that is easily digestible. It's not overly flowery writing, things like that. The descriptions help you visualize it. I'm one of those that when I read something, like the little mini movie will play in my head. Apparently that's not a thing for everybody, but that happens to me. And it's really well written in the sense that I can make those pictures come to life. There are some trigger warnings to be noted. Trigger warning of gore, death. There's a discussion of death of a parent, death of a sibling. And there is erotic scenes. Not many, but it is present. So if that's a thing for you, you might want to look up on Reddit what pages to skip. But other than that, I think those are the only warnings you should know. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I only read this book because of Tabrinko. Came up with a random tarot generator, and we got a card that meant deception. And my husband has read both of them, and he said that I've been deceived. My preconceptions about what Fourth Wing and Iron Flame are about weren't particularly correct, and to just give them a shot. So I picked up Fourth Wing on a Friday afternoon after school, because we have half days. So I picked it up around 1 o'clock, and I finished it the following day at like noon. So less than 24 hours, I read the entirety of Fourth Wing, 498 pages. I read it all. And I was like, well, obviously I really enjoyed it because I just devoured it. But I don't want to start a new book because I'm not ready to leave the Kingdom of Navarre. But at the same time, I don't want to read Iron Flame because we don't know when books 3 is coming out, and there's 5 books total. And so I sat for an entire day just humming and hawing on what to do. And then I eventually just said, screw it. I picked up Iron Flame at like 9 o'clock in the morning on that Sunday, and I finished it technically last night. Which was Saturday, because today's Sunday. So it took me less than a week, but the thing is I only had 80 pages to read since Monday, and I just savored those last 80 pages because I wasn't ready to be done with the story. The story just has a way of just grabbing a hold of you, sinking its claws in, and not letting you go. Iron Flame is a lot thicker than Fourth Wing, and there's a lot more to learn about this magic system as you go through Iron Flame. So any of the plot holy concerns that you might have with Fourth Wing, know that they're answered in Iron Flame. And there are some plot holy problems for me in Iron Flame, but from author interviews, she says wait for book 3. So I'm assuming things will be answered as we keep reading, and of course we'll get more questions, and that's what's going to get us to book 5, because that's just what authors do. So Fourth Wing, I rate it probably 4.75 stars, only because it does the one trope I hate. The one thing in books that I hate, and that's lies to another character to protect them, or for whatever reason. That whole miscommunication trope, I hate it. I loathe it. It's my least favorite thing in the entire flippin' world when it comes to books. So that pops up at one point, and that's what knocks it down that teeny bit for me. Otherwise, it'd be 5 star. As for Iron Flame, this is going to be a salty 4.5, and it's salty because I don't like the way it ended. It ended on the biggest cliffhanger imaginable, and I don't like that it ended that way. I needed more, so it's just a salty 4.5. Otherwise, it'd be 5 star. So, if you are wondering if you should read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I highly recommend it. I've seen people saying they don't like it. I've seen people saying they love it. And I have heard maybe a couple people say it's mid. But in my opinion, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame is definitely worth your time. Make sure to like the video if you did. Comment down below any book recommendations that are similar to this, because I am in a complete book hangover. And hit the subscribe button if you would like to see more. Until next time, you are loved and you are valid.